The essences of nature itself.
What a strange person.
Unbelievably powerful supercomputer that's running our reality, and we don't have a clue as to how to operate it.
So when maybe you or somebody else creates an AGI system and you get to ask her one question, what would that question be?
What's outside the simulation?
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body, because I am more than physical matter. I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world.
You do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. You do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I see that which has been made hidden as a part of a family that explores the consciousness of something. I'm the void
Ox.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Broadcasting live from Daytona Beach, Florida. This is Lighting the Void. I'm your host, Joe Rupe, and we are live on Fringe.fm, KTLK, digital broadcasting. It is Tuesday night, June the 28th on into the 29th, as we are in the middle of the new moon. And that's right, that means it's cosmic conditions. Mary Dusina's here with us tonight. The call-in number's 1-800-588-0335. To call into the show, Mary's website is marydusina.com, MARYDUSINA. Make sure you get your readings from Mary now, right now. Well, I'm just saying that because I feel like I'm all over the place right now, Mary. I almost drown myself in the ocean. Thanks for coming today, Mary. It's good to have you. It's almost 4 years now, right?
4 years this July, my tribal brother. Tell me, wait a minute. You can't do all that and say, get a reading now and then tell me you almost drowned in the ocean. So inquiring minds want to know, so how did you I sent you a link about a huge rip current that was going on in your zone over there.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them, right? So if you don't know how to swim in the ocean, you're not going to make it, which is kind of a metaphor, right? Like if you don't know how to handle your emotions, which sometimes I don't, I'll just go jump in the ocean.
Emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's only like, there's a lot of stuff that's like peaking for me right now as far as emotionally is concerned. And it's not all pretty, to be honest with you. It's really not, but you got to feel it all.
Like you said, our emotions are the energy that we ascribe to that is automatically getting set into motion in our aura and our energy radiations, both coming from within, without, and also how we're reactive to the orbits of other people's feelings, reactions, defenses, offenses, words. When people don't do what they say, they don't mean what they say. So energy set into motion is a good way to look at this new moon. And like you said, the depths of it. Are we drowning in our feelings? Are we having a hard time keeping our head above the waters of our feelings that are high tide, low tide? Some people have what they call in psychology a flat affect, like they've shut down. They've disassociated or they've shut down their feelings because of too much, too intense trauma overload. And think about it, Joe. We people that never had post-traumatic stress disorder got a big dose of that in 2020. We're coming back from that, because I keep reminding my clients and running buddies, I'll say to them, the reason that little thing is stressing you out more is that we are the living generation, all of us, regardless of your biological age. We are that generation that, and we need to pat ourselves on the back, by the way, that are living through globally the only time that I can remember, if somebody else can remember it, please call in, that the entire world got locked down for what the Bible calls a pestilence. Most people think a pestilence is just like locusts or bugs eating all the crop or when everything got eaten in Egypt. But if you go to look up, what does the word pestilence mean? It means virus, like in the plague virus type of thing. So we are living through, as I said before, I don't know if it was here, but on maybe another podcast, we didn't shut down the world for both world wars, Korean War, Vietnam. We didn't shut down the whole world, but all the elitist globalists wanted to try to fear us into complying, into whichever way. They did a whole lot of social domination through the internet. They kind of did a negative tsunami with the internet and people trying to ascertain what was real, what wasn't real, what can I rely on and not. And they sent people into a spin zone, because deep in our hearts, no matter what country we live in, I've got clients in New Zealand, I've got clients in England, no matter what country we live in, if you have any type of loyalty or patriotism for the region that you were born in, you want to believe that your leaders, I'm not even going to use the word elected anymore, but your leaders or the rulers would want to care about the people that work and strive to make a good country, make a good city, make a good county. So people got hit with, wait a minute. The people that are behind the doctors, the people that are behind the hospitals, the people that are funding these governmental rulers, kings and queens and presidents and dictators and all that, the lobbyists and the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies and all that, hold a carrot in front of a medical practice or someone keeping their job. So we went through a real shock and awe vibration in 2020. And my guides in 2020 kept saying, what's the most common thing that comes to your mind when you hear the term 2020? We were coming into that year, and I'm like, okay, the TV show 2020, and that's when they would go expose people for things. And they said, what else? And I said, well, the first thing I associate with 2020 is when the eye doctor says you have perfect vision. It's 2020. You have 2020 vision. So I look back, which is all about the sign Cancer. I look back in retrospect 2 years ago, and I firmly believe, as a 30-plus year intuitive, that whatever we saw that we liked or that we didn't like in that whole roller coaster ride of the year of 2020, I believe that it showed us ultimately who matters, what matters, and a whole lot of the things we thought mattered most in our life prior to that epidemic, pandemic, scamdemic of 2020 that sent us all off the rails a little bit and derailed us. I believe that we have come out of that now 2 years hence. I think that this year we're being shown it's time that your energy is a currency. It's time that you pay more attention to what really matters this lifetime. That's
the most precious thing you have is your time and energy.
And trust me, it's your energy, it's your love, it's your authenticity. It's looking more now into your soul wisdoms and your divine birthrights. It's like, and I'll give you one biblical, it relates back, Cancer is the sign of the home, the shelter. The turtle and the crab carry their home, their shelter shells on top of them. The turtle has a hard shell, one of the lesser known signs of Cancer. And the Cancer, the crab, there's a word that they use for crabs and the way that they walk. It's called sidle, not saddle up, sidle, S-I-D-L-E. They sidle, which means they go sideways and then backwards. That's their maneuverability when they feel threatened. So sidestepping an issue. And so with Cancer, this new moon, it's when you start the new year, as a Western astrologer, when you start the new year with Aries, that's spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. So the Western zodiac starts with the fire of the cardinal sign of Aries. The cardinal signs open the seasons. So just for simplicity, let's do northern hemisphere because that's where I live, so that's where I'm invested. So Aries opens up spring. The next cardinal sign is Cancer, the crab, moonchild, that opens up summer. And then we're followed by Libra, which opens up the autumnal season. And then the final one of Yuletide, winter solstice, is Capricorn. So Cancer, the crab, Aries is the first fire, Taurus, then next is fixed earth, then we have Gemini, so we have air signs. So we've had fire, earth, air, and in 2022, now all of us are going to bear witness to our feelings because Cancer is our first water sign. So the tides of our feelings more than how we're thinking about it, how we're invested in it, how we want to control it or manipulate it. No. Now it's time for all of us, regardless of our sign, but especially the house, the zone, the section in your nativity, in your earth birth chart, where you have the region, planets, and the house of Cancer, moonchild, the crab, is where the waters are rising. That's where the waters are rising for you to look inward, not outward. Inward.
And don't you think that would be, especially like for our healing, I would think too. I think looking outward for our healing is okay. I really do think it's okay. But if you depend upon outward things to heal you, you're in trouble. Like, I think you're in trouble in the long term. Like, you got to be able to do it yourself. You have to do it yourself sometimes, you know.
Well, it ultimately, when you look at the ego versus the soul and our soul contracts, ultimately it's an inside job. Our desires form from within us. Our fears form from life walk circumstances, you know, what was done to us or came at us. And so how we survive it, how we just survive or thrive. So usually when you get deeper into spirituality and metaphysics, what's happening externally is 80% of the time a projection unconsciously or subconsciously from ourselves because our soul is longing to be liberated from that particular soul lesson or strife. So we'll tend to attract, law of attraction, we'll tend to attract those life walk players, actors, lovers, parents, children, all that stuff that starts to orbit around us. We tend to keep the same theater play until we can graduate from the lesson, and we just get different people to play the certain parts to trigger us or to help liberate us and to help us graduate. And once we graduate, let's say I have a fear of rejection. Once I graduate that's not a trigger anymore, I'm going to stop being triggered by people that try to betray me or reject me or lie to me because it's going to be a moot point. It's like, okay, you're not worth the currency of my energy and for me to pay attention to you because, number one, you don't play fair, and number two, I'm the one ultimately that grants you permission to do that to me.
Right, exactly.
So if I look at myself without blaming them or me, let's move off the blame-shame thing. That doesn't help you mystically. If I look at me and say, maybe if I would, you know, not to beat the issue the same way that all the time because that gets boring and irritating. We're like, I don't want to look at it that way anymore. Maybe if I could look at the original seeds in my life garden, regardless of what mommy did, didn't do, daddy did, didn't do, first lover did, didn't do, first marriage did, or did. If I can just look at me and what's leashing me, or where can I get myself unattached and not blame her or him for why they're helping to trigger me by not playing fair with me? If I can get my own self out of the sandbox and say, you know what, no matter who you are, I'm going to play fair. And if you need drama and you don't want to play fair, life and spirit itself will extinguish you from my life. You won't get me. You
Amen
won't
to
get the
that.
honor of my company or the power of my presence, because I'm not going to walk this world with an intention or an affirmation to hurt other people or to drain other people. I choose not in any fashion to be an energy vampire or thief. And if I recognize that from my subconscious or my ego, I have work to do with myself, and I'm going to back up from everybody until I get that conquered within me. It all ultimately begins with me and my responsibility. And that's Buddhist, that's Hindu, that's, Sufi, that's ultimately the real type of the root base or the foundation of most of the spiritual practices and beliefs in the world. And then man-made rules eclipse it, occult it, and change it. Because even if you look at the statement, to thine own self be true.
And there's a dichotomy going on, I think, in the spiritual community right now. It's like, don't, only do what serves you, right? And get rid of the things that don't serve you anymore, right? But people look at that as a selfish thing. But it's really, it's not a selfish thing, and it's not that cut and dry either, right? Like, so love serves everybody. Loyalty serves everybody. Friendship, fairness serves everybody. Like everybody, and honesty, right? Everybody deserves those things. I don't care what your status is, how much money you make, what you look like, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. You deserve to have loyal friends and loyal family and a loyal, loving partner. I don't care who you are. Those are, and I'm not saying we all have those things, but we all deep down, if we're just decent people, deserve those things, and they should be fairly easy to give, to be, to others. You see what I mean? Honesty.
There's a logic to that too. There's
honesty
a logic to that.
Up front, honesty is the first step to all of that stuff.
And so I go back to my statement, to thine own self be true. If I willingly enter into let's say an intimacy, a partnership, instead of business, let's just say it's intimacy, like a romantic relationship, and I willingly, that person is relying on me to be loyal, that person, and some people have open marriages, I get it, okay, but for me, that wouldn't work for me. So if I choose,
as long as you're honest, nobody's getting energy sucked.
I don't have a problem with that, but if my partner says to me, I don't want to have an open relationship, I want just you, I want us to build as a team, and I don't want you to have intimate relations with somebody else. And if we discuss that, and I'm like, I'm good with that, and we make that intimate contract, I'm at fault if I break that. I'm responsible for inviting hurt onto that. If I break that contract, and I originally said to that person, now for someone that wants to have an open or threesomes or polygamy, that's their business. But I'm just saying, if I was into that, I'd be into that, and I'd say, listen, this is what I'm into, and you're either good with it or you're not, but I have to be honest with you, otherwise you'll get hurt. So this is where I'm coming from, and this is what I want. Now I personally know that I'm going to build in power magically, mystically, intuitively. I know I'm going to build in power with a partner that knows they can rely on my word, that knows they can rely on my character, that knows if I choose them, I've got their back. I'm not going to take abuse. I'm not going to abuse them, and I'm going to help them check themselves if they come at me the wrong way. I already make my friends check them. I already tell my friends, you need to check yourself. Check yourself. Unless you want me to go away, check yourself.
I got to come up with a phrase for that. Mine's usually like, don't do that. All right, later. I got to come up with a cooler phrase.
Check yourself. Well, you know what we say in the South? Pump your brakes. Back your truck up. Pump your brakes. Yes, otherwise, you're going to invite me to a dance that you're not going to like, And here's the thing: the reason I have such confidence with that in the emotional dynamics of give and take, because what's our other cardinal sign? Libra wants the dynamic of equality and balance and give and take. But here we're not at Aries or Libra or Capricorn; we're at Cancer, and Cancer is the cardinal energy that says, do you truly, when you look in the mirror, are you truly nurturing yourself before you expect somebody else to? Are you truly massaging your own soul before you expect somebody else to? Are you truly being honest with yourself before you demand that from somebody else? Because Cancer is the divine mother. You know, it's in Native American teachings, it's Taurus is Mother Earth, but Cancer is Grandmother Moon. And when we get to summer solstice in the Northern Hemisphere, when we get to the directions on the medicine wheel even change, okay? So the medicine wheel direction that we're on right now is south. And this is moving from the child to the teenage years. So we're moving in that level of our life from the inquisitive child who's fascinated and curious about everything into, oh, my hormones. Oh, I'm feeling tinglings and attractions, and I'm taking chances, and I'm a little tempted, and I'm a cute little thing, male or female. I'm a cute little thing, and people are like looking at me different.
Yeah,
and I'm
right.
feeling things different. So on the medicine wheel, the south is the growing season. It's like we've planted a garden in spring, and the south it's growing now. Harvest is later on, but now everything is prolific and growing. The beets that I planted, oh, their little leaves are just all over the place. My oregano's taken off. You know, my rosemary herbs are all pretty and getting ready for when I want to use live herbs when I cook my turkey, you know, at Thanksgiving. So in our garden right now, every time we have a new moon, every time we have a new moon, each month. The new moon is when, I have to say this again, it's when the sun and moon merge and join their celestial forces in the same sign. So that's why the Persian astrologers would say the sun and moon marry. So the sun and moon, regardless of what the spice of the 12 zodiac signs it's in is for the month, the sun and the moon agree. The sun and the moon are saying, okay, this is the time to cast intentions and seeds of desire. So the 3 days before the exact time of a new moon, like it was exact in my time zone at 10:52 Eastern. So the 3 days prior to the actual new moon is called the balsamic moon phase, and it's called the wishing moon day. So 3 days prior to because depending on the degree of the new moon, like this new moon happens between the 7th and 8th degree, but a lot of times if it's a middle degree new moon, you've got the moon's already in the sign. It's already amping up, you know, for the new moon. But once we get to, so it's a time of wish crafting, WISH. So those are the days that you're like writing your affirmations and doing your prayers and your ceremonies and nature and whatever temple of synagogue you want to do. It's like you're having a conversation with your higher self and that which serves you spiritually. But this new moon is the strongest of the year in the sense of the moon's magic and drawing down the power of the moon, because Cancer was originally called Moonchild. Cancer is the first cardinal water sign of any given zodiacal new year as the great wheel turns, and Cancer the crab is helping us to say what shelters you, what nurtures you, what are you longing for, what are you got to pay attention to your feelings right now, not just a mood, which is just one letter off from the moon, but right now this is about how would we mother ourselves. This is the great goddess energy, and this new moon is not only the birthing of desires and the fire of our feelings, but and the waters of how we manage that. You know, are we choking? Are we swimming? Are we gliding? Are we flowing? Or are our emotions and our feelings all dammed up? So, if it's all dammed up and it's held up, it's going to be a tsunami. It's just going to overtake us. I mean, it's overwhelming. So this new moon is also conjunct what they call the dark moon Lilith, which is like when you think about the Gorgon Medusa, or you think about temptations, you know, the female that can promise you and seduce you and lure you.
And and then leaves you high and dry.
Yeah, we've all done it, ladies. Okay, you know when someone's attracted to you, and you already know with your God-gifted female intuition if you're interested in that particular participant or not. And sometimes we dangle the carrot. It might be, the Botox or the boobs, but sometimes we dangle the carrot. Sometimes we promise. So don't go dissing men and just make it look like men are the seducers or the liars, because I'm not. No, I've dealt with people and all their intimate secrets for over 30 years, so no, I know better. So Been there, done that. So we, again, integrity. We have to take it back to ourselves when we know that someone's like intrigued by us and enticed by us. Are we wanting just to seduce them because it's our side piece? Are we wanting to seduce them because they have money and they can make our life a little more interesting or easier? Listen, the dynamic's out there. Are we just lonely and we know that they're more invested in us than we are in them, and so we won't have to risk getting hurt because they're into us more than we're into them, and male and females have done that, gay or straight, they've done that. So there is that unfair advantage if people don't play fair for win-win. Relationships aren't 50-50. They're 100%, 100%. And if you're not 100% in it to win it with that friend or that business alliance, and you're not, bringing your best to the table, then, I'm okay with the law of attraction. What goes around comes around.
Just be honest.
Yeah, when you least expect it. If you're not playing fair, your legs are going to get knocked out from under you and the rug's going to get pulled out from under you. And it will be a sucker punch. It will be you didn't see it coming. You didn't know it was going to happen because you've been throwing out arrows of deception and avoidance and enabling yourself. And so Spirit's going to let you see the medicine of how it feels. And right now, it's kind of advantageous metaphysically to look at how we formed some of our concepts of flirting and desire and how we seduce and how we like to be seduced, because a lot of that happens in our teenage into, the early 20s. So that's this phase on the medicine wheel in the garden of life. What are we growing into? Now, the seed's planted.
Yeah.
What are we're reaching for the light.
Telling people what they want to hear, to either sleep with them or sleeping with them to get to a certain place in life is what puts holes in people's souls. It causes trauma. Period. I don't care what age you are, kid, teenager, adult, it puts holes in people's hearts.
It
so you have to ask yourself,
lesson.
Yeah, you have to ask yourself if you're that kind of a person that can't just say, like, why are you doing that to people? Why can't you just say, hey, I'm attracted to you. I would like to do this with you, or be casual. You would be surprised how many people would do that. Or, hey, I would like to go on this adventure with you or this business journey and maybe fool around a little bit too. And
that's right.
But
that's right.
Just be honest when it comes to people's hearts and souls. Right. Doesn't mean you're not going to get what you want.
Honey, it boils down to this. If someone's not willing to be honest with whatever it is to what you just said, then they're being selfish. They're being entitled. They're being self-absorbed. Because if I can say to somebody, listen, I don't have romantic feelings for you, but I'm attracted to you as an adult physically. So as long as I'm clear with you, and we both could be surprised, but at this point, it would only be like, like you said, exploring with you and having a nice weekend. But, I don't expect you to call me. You don't have to call. That's what it is. That's just what it is. I'm not looking, like when people come out of divorces, they'll often say, I'm not looking for a serious relationship right now, or they've had a really harsh breakup, or someone that's afraid to leave their marriage. If you're wanting to play games with your marriage partner or your intimate partner and you're doing things behind their back, his or her back, then that's a karmic onus that's on you. It's not a credit. It's a deficit in the spiritual bank account, period. I don't care how many ways you want to deny it or pretend it's not so. And, then you get into things about people that are enjoying being manipulators and enjoying putting people on puppet strings. And I ultimately see them, Joe, as people that are teachers and grant us lessons too, because trust me, nobody's going to put puppet strings on me.
Yeah,
I've made that decision, not them.
At some point, that I've had to learn my lessons with this too. At some point, you got to know that you're worth more than that on either side of this.
Yeah,
right?
That's exactly right.
Doesn't matter what side of the table you are on this. Like, you got to know that this person truly doesn't care about my best interest, and I need people around me that do. And
then we have to check ourselves and our dark side, and we need to not project our surly moods or our anger or our frustrations.
Yeah, because that's what I'll do. I'll keep them around and beat up on them for a long time, and that's not because I'm mad at myself.
Boom. So you checked yourself.
Yeah, that's all there is to it.
So then you can say to yourself, I don't like that done to me, and I'm not willing to do that to other people. I'm not going to cast, my mood and my negativity onto people that don't deserve it just because somebody else triggered me. And then again, we go back to the original seeds of this incarnation, and then you can take it back further. You can do hypnotic, shamanic journeys. I've done them with people. I've done past life regression work with people to where you go back. And here's the beauty of doing regressive work. Don't get attached to the outcome. Don't get attached to the fact. When I was training and did a lot of training with one of the greats, Dr. Brian Weiss, he taught us in trainings and seminars, don't be attached to just zooming into some kind of fantastic piece of a past life journey. If you've got muckety-muck that needs to be cleared out in this lifetime, it's kind of blocking your view of you getting to the patterns that might have been established in another life walkabout. So if stuff comes up from this lifetime, that's not a failure when you're doing past life work or past life hypnosis work. That's what your subconscious and your higher self is wanting to reveal to you so you can cleanse it and get it out of the way and go, oh, I never looked at it that way before. Oh, I can connect the dots now. Oh, I see how I got myself into that tangled web. Then you go back and you start seeing, like I told you, some of the original seeds of why that lesson traveled along with you into the current walkabout. And, whether you're doing that with Aboriginal training or Native people's training, or you do DMT or ayahuasca, or you do, mushrooms, like when you're thrown outside of just the 3D perspective. And you don't have to use drugs at all or alcohol to get there. It's available. You can do hypnosis. You can train with a life coach. You can go on YouTube, for God's sakes. There's past life things you can do in your own home, sit outside in your own yard, or create a wonderful nature sanctuary. But that's what this is. This Cancer new moon conjuncting Lilith and squaring squaring Jupiter and Aries. The Jupiter part of it in Aries is like, what am I doing to myself? That's the Aries part of it. And why am I doing that to myself? And this morning, prior to this evening's exact new moon time, this morning, Neptune went retrograde. So when Neptune went retrograde in Pisces, it's helping us wake up from the same dream, a.k.a. same nightmare. So Neptune retrogrades give us a pause for the cause and say, why don't you try looking at it a different way? Why don't you try some different methods instead of just the same madness? Why don't you do a past life regression off of YouTube? Why don't you not just subjectively do your own oracle cards or your own tarot, or subjectively think you can figure it out just yourself looking at your own natal chart? Maybe another voice or another mind might help you see some things that would piggyback onto your own wisdom and your own awareness points that would double your advantage rather than arguing with it. It's like if what you've been doing, if the way you've been doing it isn't working, it's not working. It's not working.
Well,
and it doesn't mean it didn't work.
This is a time, and I know we probably got to get into the science because we're already 30 minutes in here, but
that's all right. It needs to be said.
Do you think this is a time, like, if you cannot handle being alone, truly alone, right? Like if you project everything in the outside world, if you need all of your answers from the outside world and outside people, and you need validation from, I think this is, especially right now, it's tempting too, because of the Gemini and Venus thing, right? It's tempting.
That's dual.
But also, like, this is a time to feel all of those feelings by yourself. Feel all of them, I think, and look at all of them, right? I'm not saying always be by yourself, but just feel them all the way down to the core.
Absolutely. Well, that's what Cancer the Crab is. It's, let's go into our shelter. How do we shelter ourselves? How do we protect ourselves? What defenses do we put up? What offends us? So what puts us on the offense? What makes us come out of our shell? We've all come across a tortoise. We've all come across that turtle, and it sees us, and first it goes back in its shell. Then it slowly sticks its head out, and if you pick it up, it goes back in its shell. But sometimes when I've picked up a mountain tortoise, And we kind of looked at each other first. Then it'll kind of like pop its head out and put its little legs out like, hey, you got me up in the air. I'm kind of a land creature. I'm like, you going to throw me? Are you going to hurt me? Like it goes into its little vulnerable thing, even though it's soft flesh in a hard shell. Same thing with people that like to eat crab legs or crab meat. It's very soft, watery type of ocean meat inside a hard shell, and you have to use like a special clipper and all that kind of stuff to break the shell and get to the legs and blah, blah, blah. And people that love crab meat. I mean, they just love it. So to them, it's a real delicacy. So when you're looking at, we're very delicate on the inside emotionally, and with the part of us that wants to, like, we want to know if we're going to nurture somebody. We want to, like with our kids or, our parents, when it gets harsh and we have to be harsh in some of our lessons or choices equal consequences with our children or our grandchildren or our parents or sometimes even though we're adults, our parents are like really childish and harsh. The shoe goes on the other foot.
And manipulative and everything else. Yeah.
Blame, shame. So I'm just trying to suggest that each of the 12 zodiac signs, it's like 12 spices on your celestial shelf, okay? So this is a spice that says, it's like a spice. Cancer is like a spice or an added nutrient that you could put into a lot of food. So let's say Cancer might be pink sea salt or Cancer might be sugar. A lot of recipes call for a little salt or a little sugar. So Cancer is able to kind of enhance that cake or enhance that. A lot of cake mixes already have the sugar in them, so you don't have to add the sugar. Or maybe Cancer would be like the eggs that you add, because that comes in a shell. So maybe you have to add eggs even to a store-bought cake mix, or you add eggs. Sometimes we just want to eat eggs. It's good on a budget. It's pure protein. So let's say it would be like the eggs that you add to a recipe to go ahead and make that pie, cake, or meatloaf or whatever. You add eggs to a lot of things. So Cancer is, and it's watery. So Cancer is about, and it's an embryo in a shell. So Cancer is about, of all the 12 months and all the 12 signs of this year of 2022, we're at number 4. The tarot card for Cancer is the Chariot, also known as the Merkabah, the spirit body of light. So we need to, as human creatures, as two-legged Earth citizens, it's time for us to look at the mood, the modus operandi, our oceans of emotions. And as we've started this new year of 2022, if you go by January 1st, we're getting to 6 months into it, but if you go by the zodiac, we're at the 4th sign. And so this is the first water sign that says, how are you doing with yourself? How are you doing with yourself? And if I'm nurturing Mary, if Joe is nurturing Joe, regardless of what's going on with his money and his intimacy and his comings and his goings and his expectations or his gratitude, the season of Cancer, the crab, if we could focus on the winning ticket in Cancer, the crab, is gratitude. And listen, I've had clients that said, my life is really crappy right now. I don't have anything. I'm not thankful for anything. I said, well, that's half your damn problem. But, let me ask you a couple of real core life questions. Are you breathing? Do you have any kind of clothes on today? Did you have anything to eat at all? I don't care if it was ramen noodles. Did you have anything to eat today? Yeah. Okay. So that's 3 things that came up right away. Did you get to walk? Can you walk outside? Do you have your legs? Can you walk outside and just see the mountains or the ocean or whatever? Can you look at the moon from your house if you're in a wheelchair? Can you do that? I think that we get so attached to what we don't have that we don't pay enough attention to what we do have. And I have a lot of friends and clients that are on crutches or have had military injuries or in wheelchairs, and they're some of the richest emotional, spiritual teachers that I know, because they learned greatly from what was taken away from them. Like they didn't make them bitter, it made them better. They have struggles, they have bad days, they have more bad days and challenges than those of us that are in good health. But you know what I learned from people that are able to rise and strive from the hard knocks they get in life? I admire those people. I admire them.
Yeah, because you learn to be happy with less than needing more all the time. It's
not taking any of it with you. The U-Haul it doesn't follow the cremation urn or the coffin. The U-Haul it will not be there, and eventually you're the old person. Eventually you might have some health challenges. Hope not wishing that on you. But eventually you're going to be at that stage of life where maybe when you walk through the grocery store, nobody's really flirting with you or looking at you because you're like in your 80s or your 70s.
And it gets there faster and faster and faster.
Yeah,
There's nothing more valuable in your life than your time, your energy, and the people that are in it. Everything else, forget about it. Forget about it.
By what I allow. I want to be responsible for me. By what I allow. I have to check myself with my attitude, my gratitude. I get it. I get it spiritually. It's more blessed to give than receive. I abide by that. I walk by that, whether it's giving to animals or people or whatever. I do it silently in a lot of ways all the time, and it makes me rich inside. That nurtures me, period. Amen.
Popcorn.
Yeah.
You want to go through the signs? Because we got 15 minutes till the top of the hour.
Sure. So the theme of this is examining your feelings. So when we get to the calls, after we go through the signs, whatever I say to you, I want you to keep that affirmation or that motto. How am I feeling? How does that make me feel? Have my feelings got me gripped, or am I flowing with my feelings, or am I all frustrated and fragmented? Okay, so happy birthday, Cancer the Crab. And the thing about when the new moon is in your sign, and at this point I'm talking about people that are born under the sign of Moonchild Cancer, and if your rising sign is Cancer, because if your rising sign is Cancer, your natal chart is starting over, and it's your personal soul birthday new year. If you're born under the sign of Cancer, it's your solar return. Those are like fancy terms that astrologers like to throw around, but solar return just means the sun returns to the real close to the mathematical degree of your birth date on your birth date. And the sun's our only constant. All the other planets change around. So I want to say for Cancer, I want to say that even though it's conjunct Lilith and square Jupiter, I feel like over the next 2.5 weeks, especially as we roll around, we've got a real sweet full moon coming up. A lot of planetary energies are nice, Cancer, when we get to that full moon in Capricorn over the 11th to the 13th of July. So there's some bold beginnings. Now, here's the thing about Cancers. They don't move on easy. They don't let go of the past easy. Cancer rules, how is the past predicting my future? Where am I still hung up about my past? So, again, crab claws. Once a crab pinches you, it doesn't let go easy. I mean, you might have to take off its arm to get away from it because crabs pinch. That's what they do. If a snapping turtle gets a hold of you, it might take your finger. I mean, there's different kinds of turtles, but its weapon is the pinch or the snap. So with Cancer, they move sideways or backwards. So they're constantly backing up, looking back, walking down memory lane, which when we're in the sign in the transit of Cancer, that's a good thing for all the signs to do. How and is my past directing my future? Am I still hung up on that broken marriage or that relationship that won't play fair or that business person that lied to me? I mean, you got to move it into the past. You got to let it go to have those bold beginnings. So this new moon for Cancer is hitting what we would call the first, the door's opening. So when a new moon is in your sign, it marks a shift in your perceptions of yourself and in the way you are, Cancer, instinctively, intuitively taking space, asserting your presence, and showing up in your life. So after the Gemini period, there was increased introspection over the last 30 days. Now, Venus, like you said, Joe, is in the sign of Gemini. So Cancers are still looking at what's working in my love life and what isn't, because Venus is in Gemini right now, and Mars is still challenging Cancer until it gets to the early point of July. Mars is still in Aries. Jupiter is still in Aries. So there's a lot of processing going on. There's an increased need at times for solitude. Cancer goes back in its shell. There's some emotional processing. There's self-inquiry. And Cancerians are getting ready to emerge into the world with a newfound confidence. So if your rising or your moon is in Cancer, you're going to have a renewed confidence, a restored confidence in yourself, and you're going to stop giving yourself a hard time or shaming or blaming yourself and what you have to offer. So the bonus for you, if you have Cancer in your top 3, is that your own emotional introspection and self-awareness is going to be the win. That's your lottery ticket that pays off. So this new moon starts opportunities and the journey ahead to become more conscious of any former or current insecurities or blocks or fears that have been holding you back from your natural, primal, confident, young child, bold teenager expression, from allowing yourself to be fully seen. Like, don't hold back on yourself. And remember, when you're a cardinal sign, when you're Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, it's important to let the other person have their full say. Like everybody gets a turn at the cocktail table.
And
everybody gets a turn.
And help each other build each other's confidence. This
Right.
isn't a time to tear people down, right? Like,
oh no.
It's
Everybody can easily be triggered right now. We can easily want to go back into our shelter or pinch or snap. So there's new urges, there's new impulses. It's an opening of this birthday that desires could emerge suddenly. And if you'll trust the pull of your instinct, it's going to lead you to some more favorable, unexpected places, because the new moon's happening, in your sign. So for Cancer, I guess I want to encapsulate that by saying, because it's in your first sign, it's a door opening and it's bold beginnings. Now, if you're a Leo, it's in your 12th house. So it's in that embryonic 1 month, approximately the month before you were born kind of a thing. Cancer is the sign before Leo. So you've got to restore and refresh yourself. It's like that term, take ye apart a while and rest. So there could be some psychological management that you Leos are doing. It's like this new moon, the sun and moon in Cancer, is an invitation really to turn inwards at your 12th house, and you need to dedicate more time and the currency of your energies to inner work and to whatever spiritual practices that become your harbor or your anchor. Cancer is a water sign. It's when the boat comes into the harbor to get more fuel before you go to the island again or you go fishing again. So it's when the boat's coming in to get more fuel or to do safety checks, because Cancer is very, very much about, is everything okay? Is everything secure? One of the key words of the Cancer is, am I feeling secure financially, emotionally, secure to get on a jet, secure to get in the car? We all feel more secure when we got a full tank of gas in our car. We just do. So for Leo, if you'll spend some more time in solitude, this last part of June and the first week of July, like to around July 7th or 8th, your prayers, your meditations, your magic work, your ceremony will actually grant you more opportunities of prosperity personally and financially if you'll listen to yourself and create some new ways of communicating with the universe, with your guides, with your God. It's a favorable time to focus on healing ancestral trauma, to break generational curses. When we break generational curses and patterns and resolve those issues, it opens up the treasure box of generational blessings. So there's some issues that have been perpetrating in your family line, and I think that you Leos will get to discover some new ways of coping, some new information about your lineage, some secret perhaps that's been kind of buried and hidden. In the South, we say things like, well, they'll take that secret to the grave. So there's a grand opportunity to get to heal something that maybe some previous family members or generations could not solve or resolve. I do see dreams being very, very strong for Aries and Leo over the next 30 days, and they're going to be particularly meaningful. They're not going to be like Picasso paintings or Dali, scattered images. It might be like you're actually realizing the journey and the path that you're on in the dream, and it's a lucid dream. So they're going to bring deep shifts via the subconscious and help you with that overall emotional processing. If you're a Virgo, it's in your 11th house. Now, if you're a Virgo or a Pisces, the Neptune retrograde hits your two signs the strongest. So those of you that have Virgo suns and moons and rising signs, or those of you that have that same thing with Pisces, this is going to be, if you've really been avoiding something that your soul already knows is a truth about something or someone, and you've been avoiding the fact that, yeah, I'm drinking too much, yeah, I'm taking too many pills, yeah, I'm becoming an escape artist, I don't think I'm addicted, but I could be, la, 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 la. Okay, like your soul's trying to talk to you, or your guides are trying to give you little urges. Perhaps a real friend is saying, you seem to be a little anxious or depressed lately. You okay? So, the real friends will kind of not want to judge you, but kind of check in on you or help check you, saying, let me know how you're doing. So with Virgo, because it's your 11th house, they're wanting to play with their friends. They're wanting to just let their hair down and have a good time, and that's great when you're in the 11th house. But you're also going to have revelations about, are you stressing your friends by complaining and whining and criticizing other people to your friends, and they're looking at you like, I thought we were getting together for lunch. I thought we were going to go play. I thought we were going to go ride motorcycles. I thought we were going to, go have a steak or something. So Virgo's going to have a Sunday come to meeting bunch, realization with who's a real friend and who isn't. And so for you, Virgo, you're going to probably have to move some people on the back burner, people that acted like they were your friends, but they're really just wanting to drain you or extract advantage or opportunities. And I hate to use the term, but maybe use you to their advantage. Hope not, but if it's going on, you need to set some boundaries and you need to check them at the door, kind of a thing. So with Virgo and Cancer are very compatible because it's two yin signs, and it's water and earth. So it's expanding friendships. I think you're going to expand your network of social connections. You'll make new connections. You'll get to know some new people. And even though you might still be welcoming people from your past or someone you haven't seen in a long time back into your life, there's going to be some changes and alterations in your emotional ties into the former communities that you were a part of, both online and offline. And Virgos, I feel like it's going to be more face-to-face, person-to-person now, like going to the concert, going to the movie with somebody, going on a hike with somebody. I don't see it so much as online chatting with you, Virgos. I think it's going to be more, I need to have those deeper conversations. I need to connect with somebody. I need to really see the energy congruency here. But with Neptune retrograde, it's going to reveal to you who is false-faced or who is too self-absorbed, and you're going to have to deal with it. That's all you can run, but you cannot hide. If you're a Libra, it's a big cycle. If you're a Libra or a Libra rising, it's 10th house. So here, I have an intuitive sense that there's a family, relative confrontation from your past that they're going to own their part, you're going to own their part. It's going to be a fresh start, both in your career and some new work avenues, and I see an awareness, an increase in your awareness, Libra risings, of taking consistent care of yourself in order to have that optimism or to also approach and manage professional challenges and duties. Like you're not going to let your personal life distract you from what needs to get done with work matters, career obligations, and really showing up fully to benefit the people that are your team or your workers or your bosses, or if you're the boss, to your people that work underneath you that rely on you. So you're not going to be surly with them either. So with Libra, you're going to learn to prioritize attending to what you require to feel good and how you feel nourished as a way to be able to serve your network or your community and show up with your best self, the best, better version of yourself. And in this lunar cycle, remember the new moon, 2 weeks from now is the full moon, and the opposite of the sign Capricorn. So you have some opportunities and some chances and choices to be a better role model, a mentor for someone younger or maybe more vulnerable people. You can get to inspire someone or take care of them in some way, which is going to make you feel good if you nurture but don't over-nurture. They've got to learn the lesson. You're the mentor. You're the teacher. Lead the horse to water, but let it take a drink. So meanwhile, with Libra or Libra rising, your ruling planet's Venus. So Venus is in a brother air sign right now. Venus is in Gemini, which will support your communications. It will support you being able to absorb and to give with learning processes and teaching pursuits. And it definitely can open up new opportunities and avenues to share what you've been learning for a while with others. And you could find yourself stepping into a bit of a teacher role. You know, it could be writing, it could be seminars, it could be less one-on-one and thinking about maybe doing a group of 10 type of a thing. So with Libra, I want to say that as you work on you and your charm and your charisma, if you're a Libra or a Libra rising, and stop letting family pressures or romantic pressures inject into what you can put out there with your creative career pursuits, it's really favorable for that if you can discipline yourself. If you're a Scorpio, it's 9th house. So aside from the earthly matters of like the 9th house, if there's contractual things or legal things or paperwork you need to print and deal with and sign and, take care of, like is your license tag due, that's like, oh God, I got to go deal with the state. I'm going to get my new license decal. So Scorpios, you don't want to forget about that kind of little stuff that doesn't draw a big brother into looking at you like, when'd your tag expire? What's going on? How's that insurance doing? So Scorpio, pay attention to that, get a grip. But it's a good time for dream weaving, bigger wins. And I will say to the Scorpios that have been playing fair, that have been doing over the last 2 years, work on being a better, best version of themselves. There's some nice karmic waves that you're going to be able to surf, because this is the first water new moon of the year of 2022. Scorpio is a water sign like Pisces. So having a new moon in your fellow water sign, and soon Mars is going to go into your opposite sign of Taurus, which is a polarity, is going to bring up opportunities to travel, expand, take a few risks. This lunation, this new moon, can be a fresh start in your beliefs. You may dip your big toe into the waters of studying something that you've not normally or formally studied before, and see if that dovetails with your original beliefs from your family or your culture. You may go into some foreign or new, or like when I first reopened up going into my Native American traditions, I knew I was home. So it could be that. If you've never studied Sufism, if you've never meditated, if you've never, done dream therapy or understand the meaning of colors type of a thing. So it's good for you Scorpios to do that. Now there's a Mars-Pluto square that's both energizing and motivating you as we get into July. So it's inspiring you to go after something that you want, to follow through on your desires and your urges, but you're going to have to, Scorpio's intense, you're going to have to check yourself and channel your increased energy into the constructive aspects rather than just being too hard on yourself or too demanding with the people around you. So it's basically favorable for you, Scorpio. It's basically favorable, but you got to remember, all signs right now, we've got planets in their power places. The new moon, we've got the moon in her strongest sign of Cancer. Mercury is still in its strongest place in Gemini. Mars isn't at home. It hasn't been there for 2 years in Aries. Saturn is home in the sign of Aquarius, and Neptune, even though it's retrograde, is in its power place of Pisces. So these planets in their home harbors, its familiar territory, grants us the opportunity to have more motivational maneuverability. So it's just something to realize. It's good don't be overzealous, and just because somebody offers you a good deal, don't ignore the things that you need to do the checks and balances on. Like, do a background check. Are they lying to you? Have they, checked their last 3 people they were in business with? Did they lie and BS them? Or did you? Check yourself. So if you're a Sagittarius, again, Venus in Gemini and the Neptune retrograde affects the mutable signs of Gemini, Sag, Virgo, Pisces. It's your 8th house. So I see some intimate secrets, or where there's been like a tug-of-war in your sexual intimate life. If that's come to a halt, I believe that some things are going to get exposed. Are they playing fair, or I guess I'll put it like this. Either they play fair or you're out of there. Sag is like their freedom anyway, but I believe this new moon in Cancer is intense. It's just intense. It holds potential for huge emotional and psychological transformations, but with Sagittarius right now, it's like you can't rush the process. You're only going to grow from it by going through it. So you may integrate some displaced emotions from your childhood. You're going to get to the root of relational issues. You're going to reach a more profound intimacy with those that you can rely on, that are safe emotionally. So the whole, triad of trust, vulnerability, Do you feel secure? Are you refining your ability to share with others how you truly feel? Is that central orbit? It's the central arena of attention over the next 3 weeks. And the full moon that comes up in Capricorn, Sagittarius, could advantage you and prosper you financially too. So you're not just letting people take advantage of you. If they just act nice when they want something from you, yeah, that's not happening. So you're looking at the shared resources. That's an 8th house thing. You may be deciding, I'm going to break away from that contract or that marriage, or it's not serving my higher good anymore. So how are we going to settle this thing so we can both get disengaged from it? That could be going on as far as shared finances. If you're a Capricorn, this is a new moon of 7th house relationships. So this is Cancer is your opposite sign. So you could be really gobsmacked, surprised with someone just coming into your life and you're like, whoa, it feels like I've known them before. It feels like that's a soul twin. It feels like that's, where have you been all my life kind of a thing. So if it's been a dry desert emotionally and romantically for you Capricorns, yeah, I'm not seeing that. Mars for much longer. Mars is getting ready to go into Taurus. It's going to align with Uranus. And those are kicking up the 5th house for Capricorn. You got a full moon coming up in your sign that has some nice celestial aspects over the 11th to the 13th of July. So for God's sakes, if you're attracted to them, find a way. Capricorns can be kind of shy. Time is on their side. They get warmer and sexier as time goes on. But if you can just find a way to let the person know you're intrigued by their intelligence, or you really enjoyed having a glass of wine with them or some coffee, you got to give the dog a bone. You can't just expect them to do all the work, Capricorn. So it's a wake-up call as far as if you think there's some cobwebs in your intimate zone, yeah, well, those are going to get blown away, and you could be pleasantly surprised. If you're an Aquarius, it's your 6th house. So like Leo, which is their 12th house, I want to say this really clear to Aquarians. I've been dealing with clients that either are involved with Aquarius or they are Aquarius and they've slipped into addictions, or they've backslid, as we say in the South, into the addictions. They don't want to admit they're addicted to the pain pills or the Xanax or the Tramadol or whatever it is. And so I want to say this to you, Aquarius, as a mystical teacher, if it was a friend in your life that was, telling you the truth, because they cared about you, not because they're judging you. Your habits in June and July of 2022 are either going to cost you your health or fortify your dreams. So you need to stop being so self-absorbed and self-centered in, no, I have to take that Valium to sleep. No, I'm not addicted. If the people that you know love you, that you're given a hard time, are telling you that you've been addicted for a long time, or it's beginning to cost you your children, your marriage, your loved ones, and all you're doing, if you're really honest, is hurting the siblings or lying to them, or even though they've helped you out and lent you a helping hand, that parent, that child, that wife, that roommate, or whatever, and you're biting the hand that feeds you, yeah, it's coming back. It's coming back, and it's going to kick your ass by the full moon in Capricorn, because that's going to be the full moon in your 12th house. So I'm telling you, you have been duly warned. You've been duly warned. You've gotten away with it for 7 years. Yeah, not so much in the immediate future. It's not going to happen. If you're a Pisces, I'm done with you, Aquarius. If you're a Pisces, Neptune is retrograde in your sign, and it's in your 5th house. So Pisces, you need to nurture either your own child, especially if they are a Pisces or a Virgo, now. And you might even need to nurture your inner child. So art, dance, writing, the creative arts, these are all favored around you, Pisces. You want to write that book, want to read audible books? Do you want to go to dance class? Do you want to go to yoga? You need to do something that brings up the creative favor with you. But I can't rule out the fact that there's an inauguration here of a creative phase in your life, okay? So it's marked by the start of a project. You don't have to worry about finishing it. But being around children, relating to children, is going to be enriching in some way. It's really going to be a win-win situation that they're blessed and you're blessed because of it. If you're an Aries, the new moon is bringing you a renewal. Which Aries likes new things and startups. It's like vroom, 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 zoom, zoom. So it's a renewal in your inner foundation and shifts in your domestic and family life, because it's going to hit your fourth house. So the fourth house is known as like the midnight side of the horoscope. It has to do with what's coming to light from the darkness when you hit that fourth house known as the nadir, Nadir, the nadir. So it could be a parental matter or a relative back at your original home base, your original hometown, your original state or country that's calling you or calling on you to help. Somebody's got to make the first move to resolve an old wound or understand an old rule and take it into a new success. So that's really strong around Aries. I particularly see that in the latter part of July for you Aries. So I feel like, with Mars in your sign, that's getting ready to shift. As we get around July 5th, Mars is going to move into Taurus. That's going to amp it up for Taurus people, but it's going to soften it for Aries, and they'll be able to focus more on being more relaxed financially and being able to do more things, because the money matters will start to be more focused around Aries at that time. So it's a powerful energy as a motivator, as a mentor. So be aware of how you are channeling or maneuvering your anger instead of being a slave to it. Anger can be quite a motivating vibration if we just use our discipline to say, okay, I'm angry, so I'm going to let it motivate me to do something constructive. I'm not going to be the hamster on the wheel going over the same old thing, doing it the same old way. If I'm angry, I'm going to go walk. I'm angry, I'm going to organize the closet. I'm angry, I'm going to sit down and write something really powerful, that kind of a thing. If you're a Taurus, it's your third house. You've been dealing with Uranus in your sign. You've been dealing with Pluto in Capricorn. You've been in an introspective period, being frustrated or not really wanting to listen to anybody's suggestions because Mars has been in your 12th house, but now the new moon is in your third house. And so some great conversations, some invigorating communication styles, your intelligence can create some breakthroughs, and you might find that it's inviting you to gain awareness of the subtle effects of emotions, that's Cancer, our emotions and our feelings, in your own way that you intellectually construct things. So in this next 30 days, you win and get a deeper awareness of how your sense of safety could be tied to a specific way of how you perceive your reality. Like Taurus doesn't tend to listen. Taurus doesn't tend to agree to a situation.
Taurus has to be right all the time?
Yeah, unless they think it's their idea. Unless they think it's when it's their idea, oh, hell, and sometimes they'll take the credit of somebody else's work like they did it, like it was their idea. It's
I
like,
told
that lover.
That's my favorite Taurus line. I told you, why didn't you listen to me? And you're like, what? All right.
It's like, oh, okay, did that make you feel better to say it that way to me? Could you come up with a more creative way to validate it?
Yeah.
Try that. So it's for Taurus, it's a time to explore perceiving. We communicate, but then we also need to listen and perceive. And if you just rearrange the letters of the word listen, you get the word silent. So silent and listen are the same words, just with the letters rearranged. Are you listening, Taurus? Are you listening to the silence, Taurus? That's what I want to say to you. And then finally, Gemini, financial gains. You're going to shine on a stage. You're going to shine as the teacher, the information giver, the mentor, the person. For Geminis, the things that you've studied and trained and become a specialist at over the last 10 to 20 years, I really feel like that's the fruits of your labor that want to bless you. And so it's all about values. It's a second house kind of a thing. So it's about values, and it's about you came through your birthday cycle. And so throughout this upcoming lunar 28 to 30 days, there's shifts in your possessions. And if you really value them as much as you did, some Geminis will be liquidating some things. They'll be downsizing so they can invest in new vistas. Gemini, like Sagittarius, they got to have new things that intrigue them. So they may have held on to something for a really long time and just like, you know what, I'm not even into antiques anymore. I'm going to liquidate that, and I'm going to, use that money, or I'm going to sell that property, that land, and I'm going to use that money to do something different and go travel. Because Geminis have an itch now. They've got an itch to wander and go to faraway places and meet some new people, again, like Sag with the different cultures. So set your intentions relative to gaining, saving, and investing money. And right now that's a challenge out there for a lot of people. But you know what? the higher gas prices and the higher food prices, once again, like I mentioned at the beginning of this segment, like in 2020, it's showing, we didn't know in 2020 how valuable it was that we had gas prices where they were, and they were trying to politically divide us and do the whole other thing medically. And now we're looking at the food cost, and so like other countries that we may have never thought of before that had scarcity or lack, or people that are used to money and they've had to really stretch it. You know, you stretch a human creature too far, and they psychologically start finding ways to be innovative. So we're getting very creative about flying under the radar and not necessarily letting the external, to your point, Joe, the external or the government or the ruling elitists tell us what we're going to do and when we're going to do it. It's like, yeah, you know what, you can kiss. Check yourself. So that's the science.
All right, cool. So we got to take a short break, and then we'll take your phone calls when we come back, you guys. So thanks for your patience on that. Take it to heart, and remember what you said. Think about how you're feeling, right? Is that what they need to be thinking about when they call in?
How are you feeling right now on this new moon tonight? How are you feeling? That's what the cards are going to relate to in the psychic message to help you navigate your feelings.
All right, guys, we'll be right back. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to Cosmic Conditions tonight with Mary Dusina. The call-in number is 1-800-588-0335. We have 5 lines, all right? So if you call and it keeps ringing, because it's on auto pickup too, so if you call and it keeps ringing or it goes to a answering machine or anything like that, just hang up and keep trying back. All right? So are you ready? Let me know when you're ready, Mary. We'll get this going.
I am, but I would like to say this. I want everybody, because we're coming into July 4th weekend, I would like everybody to be aware of the fact that it's not a bad forecast, but it's a use your discernment forecast over June the 30th. Going into this holiday weekend of July 1st, Mars in Aries is going to clash with Pluto in Capricorn. So Pluto rules Scorpio and Mars rules Aries. And so when you've got those two warmongers coming together, and Mars can rule fireworks and, you know, dealing with chemicals and driving too fast or letting your anger get the best of you in traffic or in boating, or if you're flying an airplane or you're in an airport or whatever. I just want to tell everybody, chill out on the day of June 30th going into July 1st. Just back off with being insulting or impatient or aggressive. Just put aggressive on the shelf and get creative. And I would feel that I would have been remiss on the forecast if I didn't make everybody aware about the potential tension elements that are over June the 30th and July 1st. And it could be, if there's a thunderstorm in your area, get off the golf course, get off the beach, don't climb the tree in the mountain saying, lightning can be another Pluto-Mars type of a thing. So, you know, accidents when they happen can happen really fast, really swift, and your life changes. So I just want to, there's times when astrologers just have to warn you to make those days easier days. Those are days to where you want to know where you are, be aware of your personal safety and crowds or surroundings that you're at, because that Mars square Pluto can be a criminal element too. So just now that I've told you that, you're aware, so probably nothing will happen. But, you know, sometimes I got to tell you when the horoscope can be testy, and it's testy enough that it's more than just a little tug of war, okay?
All right. There you go. So here we go. Looks like line 1. Man, I got to get some reading glasses, Mary. What in the world?
That's okay. We all have them. Dollar Tree.
Yeah, line 1845 area code. You're on the air. Who are you speaking with?
Oh, hello. This is Florence.
Hold on. Let me fix the phone here. I think you're good though. Who are we speaking with?
Oh, hi. My name is Florence.
Florence. Nice to hear from you.
Yes.
I don't hear their voice,
Thank
Joe.
you.
Hold on a second. Let me fix this. I think I got you on the wrong line. Florence is on the line, Mary, and this is all my fault. Give me just a second here.
No, it's okay. We'll just fix it. I just want to make sure I hear their voice because I work off of voice.
Now you can hear Florence. I'm sure you guys can hear each other now.
Say hi, Florence.
Hello. Hi.
Good.
Many blessings.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a psychic that likes. Yeah, I'm a psychic that no matter what I'm working with, whether it's your chart or oracle cards or tarot, I have always worked off of voice vibrations. I mean, when I'm doing this on a landline with Joe, my eyes are closed. I mean, in my own house, my eyes are closed because I'm letting the guides come through that way. So, yeah, that's the only reason I said, I got to hear her voice. So welcome, Florence. So, Florence, the theme of this new moon is make one quick statement about how you're feeling with yourself inside.
Well, I am feeling connection with my inner child.
Oh.
Wonderful.
And I've been apologizing to her.
And that's are you sensing the rewards with that?
I am. I could feel her, and I've been actually restarting again that inner child work as of last week or so. And I'm noticing what I used to feel when I was younger in my childhood, and people are triggering the way my father used to make me feel. And I'm noticing that, and I'm trying to keep emotional agile, if that makes sense.
That's a great term. I'm wanting to be emotionally agile. I'm wanting to keep my emotional agility. That is a good term for a Cancer new moon right there. You just came up with the term of the night. I like that. Now, so in the theme of this new moon for all signs, look at our triggers. Try to find, as I said in the beginning of the show, the seeds of where that started with you. You've already identified, you've done 50% of the work. You've already identified that. I'm finding that external people, as I said to Joe, we get these external partners or actors or players, but they're still triggering the same lesson. In your case, the seeds in your life garden, the way my father used to make me feel. So now you, as the adult Florence, are able to help the little girl Florence say, that was then. We're walking down memory lane. Cancer likes to go sideways and backwards. That was you then. You didn't have me. You didn't have me as your protector and your nurturer, the adult Florence, the wise Florence, the adult woman of Florence. You didn't have me then. It was just you dealing with it. But now the adult woman is able to say, well, isn't that interesting? Here I am, X amount of years old. It's not Dad right now. That's the seed of where it started. But I'm with my psychic pheromones and with my subconscious, I'm going to finish off this lesson because I recognize now the veils are off my eyes. I'm now able to SEE, Neptune retrograde, the Lord of the SEA. I'm now able to see clearly that this is the lesson I'm going to graduate from because it couldn't be happening in my life if I was finished with the lesson. That's the bonus. When we see through the lesson, I'm going to work on me, and I'm not going to let that trigger me from the outside anymore. It's my issue. They're just playing a part. It's my issue. And the card you got is the Five of Swords, which is an interesting dynamic when you look it up in various tarot and decks and oracle cards. There's a guy that's victorious in the Rider-Waite deck. He's won the battle, and he's got all 5 swords, and they just show 3 of the contestants that were in that competition. The one that won is grinning and looking back at the ocean with the other 2. One that lost has got thrown his cape over his shoulder, and it's que sera, sera. You lose some, you win some, and he's got a very I didn't win today, but there'll be another day. And he's walking away very neutral. But the other one has their head down sobbing. They took it all personal. They didn't want to lose the sword. They can't believe they didn't win the battle, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they were like an MMA fight. They were undefeated before this particular match. But the one is not just glad they won. They have a selfish grin on their face. So you might look at the dynamics of, did someone feel better to the inner child when they were able to control or dominate her and take away some of her joy because she was bullied or frightened? And what you're not going to put up with now is people that talk at you but don't really listen to you.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see how those are? See, the seeds are planted, but now, as the adult Florence, as the adults that we are, We're in the growing season on the medicine wheel. It's sage. Actually, the herb for the direction on the medicine wheel of south is white sage. One of the sages that's a lot of people use frankincense rocks or sage to purify and cleanse a space. So you're in a cleansing space right now with all of this. Once we have a cleansing, then we're fortified. We're renewed. We have shed the old skin. We have hopped away. Rabbit and coyote are the animal medicine for the direction of the South in most indigenous cultures. So rather than the wily trickster coyote wanting to attack the rabbit or the field mice as a food source, the rabbit is extra vigilant right now, saying, no, you don't want to play with me. You want to trigger me. You want to eat me. You want to harm me. So you're more vigilant right now, and you're now not asleep anymore, and you're not repressed anymore to what's triggering you from other people. So if you work with the dynamic, the polarity of like, I'm not going to get triggered. I'm going to see how I get along with these people when I just set a very calm, neutral boundary and I don't let myself get triggered emotionally. Cancer is all about our oceans of emotions. So if you can work with your inner child and become neutral emotionally, not repressed, not suppressed, but neutral, and say, this is almost like Spock on the original Star Trek. How fascinating humans are. How fascinating that someone gets so mad or so sad or so vulnerable. It's fascinating. Spock was devoid of emotions, but he didn't have anything repressed because he didn't have any emotions. So look at it like you're looking back on it as a director, not just a mutual actor, if that helps.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. Can you say the last sentence again? Repeat that, please.
The card? Did you want me to repeat the card or the last thing I said?
The last sentence that you just said.
Okay. If you can know that you're actually the seeds have been planted, you're in the growing season of your garden. So now if you can realize that they're just actors and that you're going to look at this not just as another actress or you playing a part, but now you're the director, so you get to be above who's writing the scene, how long the scene's going to be, if you're going to cut the scene. You're now the director of any drama, and you're the director. The director makes the final decision, even the budget. The director makes the final decision. So Florence is moving into a different kind of power position, if you will. Now you're the father figure. Now you're the director. Now you have the say-so.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense.
Good. Yeah.
So
you're not trapped. Yeah, you're really ripe. You're ripe fruit. You're really ready to heal it, feel it, and be liberated and graduate from it. And again, I'll say sometimes because of how we went through what we went through, the going through it was really the only way we're going to grow from it and graduate away from it. Sometimes we just got to really go into it so that we can actually get away from it. We got to go into it. Most people avoid and sidle, there's that word again, or go sideways, trying to avoid the confrontation, or the other type of people get into the confrontations all the time. They yell, they scream, they call names, they fight, but even that doesn't solve the situation. It's just until the next fight or the next screaming match or the next tit for tat, he said, you said. So there's the avoidant people that ghost and go silent, which is usually what an argument ends up as a result anyway. Yep. And then there's the people that change their strategy and say, no, they expect me to yell and scream. They expect me to ghost them because then they can, buy more time. So what you're doing is you're saying, I'm the director. They can't trigger me unless I let that be my scene. I'm the director. I'm not the actress reacting. I'm the director.
Yeah, that's exactly right on. Because I've been so triggered, and I've been going off, and it's just you know what, I'm not gonna do this anymore. There's no point, and and even though I'm really hurting inside from my current situation, it's time to move on, and it's
look at it this way. Look at it this way. Instead of saying there's no point.
At the same time.
Yeah, instead of saying there's no point, Florence was able to rise from her childhood and express herself vis-a-vis anger and going off, to use your words. All Florence is going to do now as a director is not be stuck in the same old stagnant pattern. Now Florence is going to go, you know what? I've gone off. I've gotten mad. I've screamed. I've hollered. I've rejected. I've stayed away from him. Still didn't solve the damn problem. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to direct myself into doing some different strategic moves. They expect me to go off. They expect to trigger me. They expect to suck me back in and get entangled again into the drama machine. You know, the some people need drama as much as they do their next breath.
They'll play all kinds of tricks on you, man.
Absolutely.
They'll block you or do push all of your buttons until you block them, and then call you a bastard for blocking them. And then when you when you feel bad and you want to make up with it, then they'll push you and block you. Then they'll call you a narcissist. Then you're going to look and say, are they the narcissist? And it never stops. It never stops.
But they do it to keep you leashed. They do it to keep you tangled up and leashed. The yard dog.
The true narcissistic thing to do, and I don't even want to call it a narcissist, but the true manipulative thing to do is to keep someone on the edge, holding on by any means necessary.
The narcissist gets a woody, gets off on the fact that even if they're away from you, they're still controlling you.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what's going on. I choose to break the leash, and that's it. Thank you. We've only just dropped the mic. Thank you.
All right.
Now the dog gets to run free. You're not locked in a cage, and you're not the yard dog. You get to go free now. Now enjoy your freedom. That's what the ultimate success of a Cancer new moon is to be able to say, I am not leashed just by how they're trying to control my feelings or how they're wanting to create or control my, nobody controls our feelings but ourselves, but we like to, the illusion is we think that they're doing that to us. We are the ones granting permission or not.
Yep.
Thank you, Florence.
Thanks, Florence. You have a good one.
Thank you, everybody. Love, peace, and light beams. Many blessings.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Okay, so...
5 of Swords was her card, so she writes that down.
Oh, yeah, she's been squabbing for sure, huh?
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see, 770 area code. Who are we speaking with?
Diane.
Diane. Little ditty.
Hi.
Blessings, Diane. So, one sentence, how are you feeling inside yourself? What have you been feeling with yourself lately?
It is time to totally heal inside and to actually focus on the dreams that I've had for years, that I've put limitations where I didn't feel I could achieve them.
That a girl. Nice strategy, young lady. Now, you know what comes after strategy? We have to put the boots on the ground and do the discipline. We have to do that.
And that's what I've been doing.
Day by day. Yep, the mental discipline, the changing our habits of how we react or what we do to comfort ourselves when it's not going our way. So we have to allow those new, fresh, bold, creative changes and options that we've not put our big toe in the water before, because otherwise we backslide into the same old, same old. So good for you. And your card is the Ace of Fire. The Ace of Wands, as I learned it, as I teach it. Everybody's entitled to their own way, so I'm not arguing with people. So the Ace of Wands, to me, in my humble opinion, is the Ace of Fire. So the next fire sign that's coming up is Leo, and that's going to happen around the 3rd week of July. So the Leo vibrations, aces are all about beginnings and seeing profit or payoff from our discipline. So I would say that around that 21st, 22nd, 23rd of July, you're going to start to see the sparkle and the shine of your own due diligence and really applying that day by day, not just a mood, not just today I'm declaring that they're not going to do that to me. Okay, you got to like, it takes 30 to 60 days to change an ingrained habit. That's just pure psychology. Yeah, because we've got it in our subconscious. So if we do a little bit of that discipline and a little bit of that gratitude and a little bit of that declaration and affirmation every day, 5 minutes. Every day say, nope, this is my new mode of action. Nope, I'm not slipping into that. And if you do that mindset, it really can happen within 5 minutes of every day for that 30 to 60 days. And by doing that, you're releasing it from your subconscious. You're creating new psychic prowess, and you'll see the return. You'll see the net return on your investment of dedication, mindset, feelings, psychology, and your allegiance with spirit, with the divine alignment. That's what unifies us. What unifies us is the win-win divine alignment. That's why we need spiritual discernment. That's why even biblically it talks about the ability to discern both the spirits as well as the men, because we don't battle against mortals. It's about the spirit or the essence that an animal or a mortal is throwing off at us. Is it light? Is it dark? Does it pull dark out of us? Does it pull light out of us? So the Ace of Wands is like a lit candle, or the altar, or the incense, or the campfire, or the stars lighting up the darkness at night like we have at the new moon. So there's light on the subject, and that is like a magic wand then. Your word becomes your wand. The pen is mightier than the sword, and you're able to form truths and disciplines and mindsets and communication expertise with any of those that matter or not. The or not is I'm setting boundaries. You're not going to play me like a fiddle anymore. The dog's off the leash. Mm-hmm. Check yourself.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
It's a good card. Go study the Ace of Wands. It's a very good card. It does involve the fire signs of Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, but the next fire sign up is Leo. And so that's going to be where you're seeing the first real payoff on your dedications. So call us back and let us know after Leo happens this year.
All right. Thanks
Okay,
for
great.
calling.
Thank you.
All right, good night. All righty. Looks like we got 801 area code, line 3. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, Joe. Hi, Mary. This is Georgiana.
Georgiana.
Pretty name.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Pretty name. How are you feeling? What would be the short statement before we go into anything else about how are you feeling with you?
Better with myself and a little heartsick at the same time.
Okay, that's really honest. Good for you. Well done. Well done. The card that you have is the 10 of Cups. So this is the rainbow with the 10 golden chalices. Cups always relate to the water signs because it would be like the 10 of Hearts in regular cards. Anybody that knows tarot can read regular playing cards at the cocktail parties and all of that. It's fun. But the 10 is like the maximum number in the 4 suits in the tarot. So it means you've come to a climatic point. It does involve family. So it looks like it's the generational division of the child versus the parent. So it may be that you've got a little topsy-turvy thing going on where the parent is acting like a child and expecting you to give them their way, kind of a thing. Sometimes parents throw temper tantrums. Sometimes parents, it's like you sit there and you're going, okay, I'm 30 years old and my parents are acting like a 5-year-old. This is like so bizarre. I mean, I know I was 5 once and they had to deal with me, but didn't know it would do a topsy-turvy like this. So there's some kind of a family dynamic, or somebody is getting maybe the reward or the attention, and I'm going to say this deliberately, that they really shouldn't be getting because they're not acting the right way, or they're throwing you under the bus, or you're the black sheep, and everybody knows that they're doing wrong, but yet they're avoiding the elephant in the room, as they say. Do you understand this?
Damn.
Damn, that means you must have rattled something there, Mary, for sure.
Wow.
Thank you for the wow.
Yes.
So perhaps that can unleash the toxicity. Do you understand? Once we see,
I do.
Good for you. Once we see how the poison dart is being aimed at us that we didn't correct within us, once we release, that's not going to poison me anymore, I'm not a bullseye target. There's nothing that needs to be hit here. We can agree to disagree. Everybody can be the way they need to be, but I am out of here, and that disruption is not coming into my space. That's the boundary. You go be how you need to be. You go believe how you need to be, but that's not happening up in here. Don't bring it to my door.
Oh, Mary.
Capiche? Yeah, as we say in Italian, capiche, you know what I mean? Bada boom, bada bing, because if you willy-nilly come to my door with your hot mess, I check you at the door, no problem. I'll even enjoy it. You'll want to run away. You'll want to run away. Well, even in magic, magic.
I am a Scorpion.
Oh, I love it. Even in magic, you don't go to somebody else's pentagram. You don't go to somebody else's vortex. You keep the power in your own.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, Mary, God bless you.
Thank you.
Joe,
Back
you're
at you,
so
honey.
cool.
Thanks.
Well, thank you. Thank you for supporting this show, and thank you for your loyalty to Joe and the tribe, the Void Walkers tribe. We have got to unify after 2020. We
Absolutely.
can't be at each other's backs. You need to support the pro bono teachers, the networks, the talk hosts. We need to support the people that show up here what looks like for free for you to call in. They're taking their time, the investment of their money and all that, and we need to support that. I do, and I'm calling on everybody, whoever that is, and however you get fed, support those people, those specialists, those networks. Just frickin' do it.
Yeah.
Please,
Amen.
because Mary feeds so many little animals.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
God bless you, sweetie.
All right.
Thank you, honey.
Gonna let you go. Time short.
All right. Let's see. We got 828 on line 4 here. Who are we speaking with? 828 area code.
Hey, this is Lisa. How are y'all doing?
Lisa.
It's a nice little soft energy voice tonight. You're a much more powerful energy than that soft little voice. So your statement about how you're feeling is.
How's Lisa feeling?
Oh, how is Lisa feeling? Lisa's got her back messed up at the moment.
Oh, sorry about
that. I'm thankful, grateful, and blessed otherwise.
Joe, that got mumbled on me. Say to me what she said.
I don't know. Her mic is kind of mumbled. What'd you say, Lisa?
I said I'm otherwise.
So her back's hurt. Otherwise, she's good.
Oh, well,
yeah,
Holy Spirit, Christed consciousness, I am that I am, all that is. Thank you for the restorations and the blessings for Sister Lisa's back and her spine. May whatever was a monkey on her back, whatever was too much that she took on her own shoulders to do for somebody else, now be healed and restored, and that she is breathing and basking and enjoying the light of the all that is, Almighty I am. Aho, amen. Okay, but emotionally, besides the back pain, emotionally, one quick sentence before I pick a card. Emotionally, how are you with you? Not everybody else. How are you with you?
I would say kind of wondering.
Wondering or wandering? W-O or W-A?
W-O.
Okay, wondering. Are you doubting yourself? Remember, I asked you how you're feeling with yourself. Are you doubting yourself?
No, I just kind of have this lingering emotion towards someone in my past that I wonder if it's ever going to actually happen or be able to be.
So you're wondering about an intimacy?
Yes.
And that if that connection is going to unlock and go forward. Am I hearing that right?
Yeah, someone in her past she's having feelings for. Maybe they haven't contacted her. I don't know. Like maybe she's wondering, I don't know.
Okay.
She's wondering how that's going to be.
Your feeling, what I'm hearing is your feelings with you right now in this Cancer new moon, the oceans of emotions, is that Lisa herself has got her feelings in the harbor of an intimacy. So what Joe was talking about earlier, we're not judging it, we're not shaming it or blaming it, but you've got your emotions, you've got your fishing line of your emotions and you feeling better attached to something else, and that you're wondering about that. Is that ever going to happen? Is it going to go on? So number one, I would say get your mojo back with yourself.
I know how you feel, by the way. It's not a weakness.
No. Again, no shame, no blame. But the card I got is a very powerful card. It's the High Priestess. And so with the High Priestess, the second card in the major triumphs, in the major arcana, the pomegranate seeds have to do with the seed is cracked. The fruit is cracked open and the seeds are exposing themselves. She knows what's behind the mystery of the veil. She holds the Torah and a crescent moon at the bottom of her feet. So she is the intuitive, she is the mystic, she is the seer, and the waters are very calm behind her. So there's much yet to be revealed. And just like this show, it's like, it's like lighting the void, beyond being able to see clearly beyond the veils of other people's perception of us, your perception of them. So what I get from this is that there's a strong intuitive connection with this one that you are wondering about, and that your new moon intentions or affirmations might be, okay, I'll tell her that, Spirit. The Spirit just told me, tell her to do the sky writing psychic technique. So what you do is, if you're in the mountains and you're on the beach, you look up at where you can actually look up and physically see the clouds. And yes, it can be done at night clouds too. And you focus your attention and your gaze with this little sky magic thing, and you write their name in the sky. You just focus an image and you write the person's name that you want to hear from and that you want to hear about in the sky. Just write it in the sky. See it, close your eyes, see it, close your eyes 3 times, breathe in, and just let the magic work. Oh, you'll hear from them. You'll hear from them, or you'll hear big news about them. That one's never failed me. So do that, because you're wondering anyway, so put that wondering energy out to the sky. Out to the sky.
The thing is, I have actually heard from this person pretty regularly.
I apologize. I keep.
Hold on a second. Are you saying you have or haven't heard from them?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
And it's been like a 32-year ongoing kind of situation. Mary, you know what I'm talking about.
32 is an interesting number. That's a 5. If it's been an ongoing 32-year-long thing, 5 is the agent of change. From chaos comes the choice. From the chaos or the confusion comes the consequence and the choice. So before it makes it into when it starts to hit the 33rd year, so you have heard from them. So it feels to me, if you've heard from them in the last 30 days or pretty recently, then I would say with Neptune retrograde. I missed that?
Today.
Oh, wow. Right on okay. That's a very strong omen that you heard from on the new moon. Okay. So here's what I get. If it's been ongoing for, Joe, see if you agree with this. If it's been ongoing back and forth for 32 years, I would absolutely say 2 things. It's so fascinating that I heard from you, and I really want to get to more of the core of why we keep knowing each other for 32 years. We need to move forward or categorize it as friendship or
surrender
or
to something. For the love of God, would you people surrender? Why are you making it so hard on yourselves? That's the freaking fear and the control and the chaos and the bullcrap and the surrender. Just do it. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing.
I love it. No, that's raw and real, and that's like the Aries speaking to the Libra. Yeah, she felt it.
Today, the thing is, he is a married man.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. But I would never want him to leave his wife. I'm not that person. It's just we talk as friends. But a prayer request, I call this man, or message him. I don't call him like that. But you know what I mean?
Okay, let me use a magical term.
There's nothing good about triangulation.
No,
let me use that.
Yeah, let me use a magical term. They're taken. Right now they're taken.
Exactly.
Now maybe they're taken because of financial obligations. I'm not giving them any pass or any excuse, but they used to call it they're off the market. They got married. They're taken. So if they've not changed that in 32 years and you're a sincere, loving, romantic woman that says, I don't want to break up anybody else's marriage, okay? I get it. I get it. But if someone isn't motivated enough to
leave,
say to you, yeah.
Then they're using you for something. It doesn't mean they don't love you or whatever.
That's right.
But at this moment in time, they're reaching out to you because that person's not doing something for them. You deserve better than that. You don't need to be thinking about anybody in that situation, no matter how much of a past you got. Just let them know, hey, I like you. It's cool. We have a deep connection. When you get out of that connection, give me a holler, God willing.
And why can't you get out of it for your own reasons, not for me, not to secure Joe or Lisa or Mary, but if you were really happy in that, you would not be doing this behind their back. Would you call me in front of them?
Yeah, because you're going to you're setting yourself up, for a heartbreak when you find out either they're using you for something or they don't have enough healing in themselves to even be messing with you right now. They got way too much energy of someone else involved in them, as much as it hurts me to say that to you.
Yep.
No, and I know these things. The problem I'm coming into is like I don't want to have to just sit around and wait for your wife to die for us to be able to be together. But I don't want you to leave your wife.
Did you hear what Joe said?
Don't. I mean, the worst place you can stay in is the most toxic place and the most negative energy in the world you can stay in is indecision. It's sit there and stay stuck.
It's Mama time. Mama's talking from spirit. If they'll do that to you while she's alive, even if she dies, they'll do that to you.
Do it. You're not special. Trust me. They'll do it to you too.
That's right. That's right. If somebody will get yourself out of it, look at you. Don't look at them. Look at you. Like Joe was saying earlier, what in Lisa is drawn to somebody that's taken or not available and says to you, well, now when she dies, I'll definitely run into your arms. You're the best sex I've ever had. We're going to have a wonderful life. And it's just like, who are you?
I've driven around the country for the past 4 years of my life chasing women that are either involved with other men or won't get out of their relationships and tell me they're in so much love with me, right? And it broke my heart to pieces. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Preach.
You deserve better.
But here's the thing.
All right, now listen to him. Listen to him, Lisa, because he's speaking from an Aries Libra perspective, and he's a man.
I know, my polar opposite, I know.
Okay, so again,
something's coming from your childhood or something's coming from inside yourself that has one mindset of either chasing something that you're trying to prove your love to or holding on to, or a lack mindset that there's no one else out there like that person that will love you the way you want to be loved. And both of those things are false.
Yep.
It's an illusion. It's the devil's game.
Whoa, that was a good turn. It's the devil's game. It's the devil's game. Wow. And what your ultimate gain is going to be is you're going to shift from the 6, the Lover's card with the duality of Gemini, into the more pure heart chakra to heart chakra card of the 2 of Cups. Go look those up now that you're coming off the phone call. Go look those 2 cards up. Look at the difference between a healthy intimacy, which is the 2 of Cups, and just the Lover's card. If you look at the Lover's card, you'll see that they're chained. And that card fell out when Joe said it's the devil's game. And go look at the figure that they're chained to. When you look at the devil and you look at the Lover's card, it's the same yin-yang, male-female. They're chained. With the devil card, there's an angel above them wanting to reveal to them the duality that's going on in their life, the push-pull, the tug-of-war, with the angel above them, Raphael, above them. When you pull out the Lover's card, number 6, and pull out the devil's card, number 15, and look at it, it's when something has taken them, when they're possessed by something, when they're possessed by their inability to see that they deserve more, they can have more, they're chained.
And you know what that person's doing? That person's working out their self-worth with multiple people while you're working out yours with just holding on to them. Think about that, too.
The sex. A lot of people get chained by the sex is good because you're the forbidden fruit. You're the apple. You're the forbidden fruit. It's behind their back. Or the other person can't know. We got to sneak around. Hurry up. This is a good weekend. And that's the devil's game.
Well,
I'm not saying the sex isn't good.
It's always good. The forbidden fruit is always good, right? But I promise you, if the right kind of loving couples out there that are healthy,
it's even better sex.
Yeah, you could do it just as good, man. So,
even better, because it can only be fruitful and multiply.
We got since Jess is gone tonight, I don't want to leave these last callers just hanging there.
Okay, we got to go. So, Lisa, you've been preached to, Lisa. Mama and Joe preached at you.
I'm sorry, Lisa. I adore you.
Oh, you're good.
You have a good night. Thank you for calling. Let us know what happens.
Yep. Get strong, girl.
All right. Good night.
Sometimes we have to be
32
strong
years. That's, man, if they've been doing that stuff back and forth,
time goes quickly, Joe, when you're leashed.
There's way too much addiction going on there, boy. Yep. Way too much.
Yeah, addiction's a good word, too. Remember that song by Chris Isaacs, Wicked Games?
Yeah. Let's see, 540 area code. So I'm going to take the calls that are on the next two lines, and then we're going to have to go, because even though I got to play a replay, Jess still...
It doesn't matter. No, it's what's meant to be. No, out of respect for our Scorpio Jess. That's right.
540 area code. Who are you speaking with?
Hey, Joe. It's Mike in Virginia.
What's up, Mike?
Mary, thanks for both of y'all being here.
Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging us in our presence. Thank you. Can I tell you your card, because it flew out? You got the Magician.
Yeah.
So the Magician is, you have the power of the hour. The force is with you. He has all four elements on his table: fire, earth, air, water, cups, swords, pentacles, and wands. And he holds the as above, so below, with the infinity symbol above his head in red and white, casting from the heavens to the earth. So I would like to suggest, not tell you, but I would like to suggest that whatever your feelings are from you to you and what you now declare that you're ready to manifest and that you know you deserve, you're there. You've figured out a formula for yourself, and you just need to apply yourself, because this is a very big yes card when it comes up. The Magician doesn't just pop out in readings for people. I've done lots of readings. It doesn't show up upright a lot. It just doesn't. It's a big damn deal when it shows up. So you're on a right course. You just need to follow through.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Well, the right courses, I've got the right course, the ideas and everything's there. It's just there's an element missing that I'm not going to be able to produce on my own.
Well, that's not a missing element. That just means that you're ready to manifest what needs to be in congruency with you, or walk alongside you with the manifest. It's not a missing element. If you need a partner, or you need a backer, or you need another person to, if you're a mechanic, you need the other person that has the lift that lifts up the cars. I mean, you can add on, in a manifestation, but you just need to know your strengths and say, okay, I'm really strong in this, but what the duality is that will really bless this accomplishment is for me to get, if you own the building and you need a mechanic, it's not a missing element, you just get the mechanic. See the difference?
Well, that I understand, but it's finances that is the missing, and that's something I can't produce at this point in time.
Okay, take the T off of can't and just start being grateful. And even if all you have financially right now is to open a door for somebody, or to be kind, or cook a meal for somebody, or invite somebody to a pizza or a meal that you're having, start small with big acts of generosity and gratitude, and watch the money come.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I'm very grateful and happy with what I've got right now. There's no question about that.
Then in your meditations and in your prayers and in your affirmations, I am grateful. I have all that I need. I am blessed. I allow the great mystery. I allow the Holy Ghost. I allow the I am that I am, all that is, to now bless me with what was missing is now manifested, and I have faith. Worry is the opposite of faith. Faith is a fuel. So I just like to say, fill your tank with faith. It's not going to cost you what it costs you to fill your car at the gas station right now. Every day, fill your tank with some faith. Every day. Faith is the opposite of worry. One more memoism, we'll go to that other call Joe wants to go to.
One more memoism.
Fear knocked at his memo. She said to him, Merlin, one day fear knocked at the door. And I'm just looking at her like, oh, God, I got to figure this out. Fear knocked at the door. Faith answered. There was nobody on the other side of the door. Then she'd just walk away, and I'm sitting on a swing, and I had to figure it out. I still refer back to that to this day, 40 years later. Fear knocks at the door. If I answer it with faith, fear's gone. It can't survive it. It can't survive it.
That's true.
Fear is, yeah. So, yeah.
So there you go. Well, Mike, thanks for calling in, brother. I wish you all the best.
Happy New Moon.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Another thing, too, about faith is, like, a lot of people say hope is the conduit for miracles. Well, let me tell you something about hope. Hope is also an idea and mindset that is a little bit weaker, in my opinion, than faith, because hope is saying, I hope it happens, but it might not, right?
Nope.
Faith is the thing that goes, I know it's going to happen because everything works out for me, and you move towards it anyways, right? That's faith.
Faith is the belief in things not yet seen, not yet known, not yet felt. Faith is a fuel.
Absolutely. 502 area code, you're on the air with Mary Dusina. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, it's Sarah from Kentucky.
Sarah from Kentucky.
Sarah from Kentucky.
Yes,
real quick, because we got to
through.
move quick. You're the lightning round, Sarah. Just give me one statement or one word about how are you feeling with you inside.
Frustration.
Okay, that's honest and clear. You got the Judgment card. So this is the 20th card. It's Archangel Gabriel that sounds the trumpet that tells you to rise up triumphant, get over the obstacle, the stagnation, the blockage is the challenge, the lesson, the illusion. And whenever you get, there's only three big angels in any tarot deck. It's Raphael, Gabriel, and Michael on Temperance, Raphael on the Lovers, and then on the 20th card, we have Gabriel. He's sounding the trumpet with 7 strong blasts, 7 days of the week, 7 main planets, 7 main chakras. So, and the people are rising up from the dead. They were floating in coffins on the water. So what's dead's dead, you're now rising. It's called a grand rising. So like the phoenix and these people actually see the angel. They actually see the angel. They see the apparition. So look more into your angel. Ask more for your sacred guardian angel's assistance that walks alongside you. Rebuke any and all deleterious or uninvited influences. I rebuke you. Uninvited influences. I rebuke you, fear. I walk by the sight and the fire of faith. I am one with the Almighty I am. I am one with love's light. You got to, sometimes our affirmations and our intentions have to be declarations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bless you both.
You too, Sarah. Thanks for calling.
We'll take it. We accept it. We receive it.
We receive it. Yeah. Last
you gotta
one,
receive it.
A 732 area code. You're on the air. Last one of the night. All the other callers, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Lightning, they can get a reading.
Who are we speaking with?
Mary, chose my particular call. I love you guys. I haven't talked to you. Actually, Kev died.
You're breaking up. I can't hear you. What did you say?
I haven't talked to you guys. My phone is
Oh my goodness.
I might have to.
I can't.
I haven't talked to you guys before.
You've never talked to us before? You're
can
fading
she hear
in
me?
and out. You're
I'm going to
fading
tell
in
her
and
her
out.
card. Can she hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
Roll call, please, Mary.
Honey, you're breaking up, so I'm going to
She
tell you your
said pull a
card.
card, yeah.
Okay. So
It's
you've got the Virgo card. You've got the 9 in the major triumphs, which is the Hermit. He's at the top of the mountain, the top of the snowy mountain, the highest point, and yet he holds a lantern with a star willingly blazing out of it. He's got his walking stick and he's got the star, and he's holding the lantern up for you to light your way up the mountain so you can see your way clear over and above any challenge in your life right now. He has accomplished his hike to the apex, to the panoramic view of the mountain. He is one with the spirit of the mountain, and he lights the way for you. So you have earned supernatural, paranormal, divine favor to be able to have light on the subject and to be able to see your way clear. So walk ahead, walk up, wake up, walk up, take the challenge.
There you go. Thanks for calling. I don't know why we can't hear you at all, but there's something really weird going on with your phone. But thank you so much for calling.
That was spirit.
All right, Mary, last phrase of the night, the phrase that pays the message for the night.
Here we go. Ready? Breathe in, knowing that you're one with the light. When something isn't right for you, your soul rejects it and tries to warn you in many different ways. Always pay attention to how things make you feel and what emotions they bring up in you. These are the messages now. Yeah. Happy new moon.
Happy new moon, y'all. Go get your reading, all right? MaryDusina.com, MaryDusina, MaryDusina.com. We'll be back on the new moon. And remember, too, I got to say something, too. Don't point your fingers at people. It's principalities and powers. That's what's going on here, folks. Everybody's got to learn their own lessons.
July.
We love you. On the 28th, absolutely. Is that right?
Yeah, 28th of July is a Thursday.
All right. Sweet dreams. Good night, y'all. Say prayers for Jess Rogie.
Love to you.
Good night. Forgot to mention Jess. She needs our prayers.